I cheated on my boyfriend, but it made us filthy rich. Here is a wild Reddit story that will blow your mind. Picture this: a life spiraling into chaos, a love teetering on the edge of ruin, and a desperate gamble that ignites a firestorm of betrayal. This isn't just a story, it's a heart-pounding plunge into the abyss of one man's choices. A tale so gripping it'll leave you questioning where ambition ends and destruction begins. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear is a roller coaster of emotion, suspense, and a twist that'll hit you like a freight train. Meet our storyteller, a 27-year-old man, let's call him Jake, who's been wrestling with a secret so explosive it's turned his world upside down. Jake's no stranger to struggle. He's a regular guy, chasing a modest dream in a cramped one-bedroom apartment with his boyfriend of 2 years, whom we'll name Ryan. Ryan, in Jake's eyes, is perfection incarnate. Kind-hearted, quick with a laugh, and the kind of person who lights up even the darkest days. Together, they've built something beautiful, despite their wallets being as empty as their fridge most nights. Ramen dinners and overdue rent were their norm, but Jake had a vision, a way out. And that vision, a digital goldmine called Solana. Jake was obsessed. He'd been holding on to this cryptocurrency since its value was a whisper, watching it climb to dizzying heights, $150 a coin and soaring. Every tick upward fueled his dreams. Fancy dinners for Ryan, a house with a yard, a life where stress didn't choke them every month. "This is our ticket," Jake would tell Ryan, his voice brimming with conviction. Ryan, though, didn't share the fervor. He'd chuckle, shrug it off, content with their simple life. But Jake was all in. He couldn't shake the gnawing regret of not having more coins stacked, more chances to turn their fortunes around. That's when the seed of a reckless idea took root, an idea so wild it would either save them or shatter everything. One restless night, scrolling through shadowy corners of the internet, Jake stumbled across whispers of quick cash. He was fit, confident in his looks, and had heard tales of men turning charm into profit. The thought twisted in his mind. A few discreet encounters, no strings attached, just business. He wasn't proud of it, far from it. But the logic crept in. He'd done casual meetups before meeting Ryan. How different could this be with a paycheck attached? With a racing heart, Jake crafted a faceless profile on a murky website, offering private meetings for a price. The first time was a nightmare. Awkward, stiff, a wealthy stranger in a sterile hotel room. But the $500 in his hand afterwards silenced the shame. Straight into Solana it went. 3 precious coins added to his stash. "This is for Ryan," Jake whispered to himself, a mantra to drown out the guilt. What started as a one-time plunge became a dark descent. Over months, Jake slipped out when Ryan was at work, spinning tales of errands to mask his tracks. 10 meetings, $5,000 earned, all funneled into his crypto wallet. 40 coins now, climbing higher, and Jake felt like a mastermind. He pictured the moment he'd reveal it all to Ryan. Debts erased, a vacation booked, a hero's welcome. Solana was inching toward $200 a coin, and Jake's pulse raced with every update. He was so close, so certain he'd pulled it off, until the day the house of cards came crashing down. It was a careless slip, a forgotten logout on their shared laptop. Ryan, curious or maybe just bored, opened Jake's burner email. What he found wasn't a surprise gift or a sweet note. It was a Pandora's box of messages, meetup details, even a photo Jake had sent to a client. The air in their tiny apartment turned electric with rage. Ryan's voice thundered, "You're selling yourself for fake money?" Jake scrambled to explain, his words tumbling out in a frantic plea. "Ryan, I did this for us, for you, for our future." But Ryan's eyes, once warm, were now icy with betrayal. "You're revolting," Ryan spat, his voice breaking. "You've destroyed us." Before Jake could catch his breath, Ryan grabbed a bag, stormed out to his sister's place, and vanished from Jake's life like a ghost. Silence fell, heavy and suffocating. Jake was left alone, staring at a Solana wallet now worth $6,000. A hollow victory. The numbers mocked him. meaningless without Ryan's laughter filling the room. He hadn't meant to stray emotionally. Those encounters were cold, transactional, nothing like the love he felt for Ryan. Yet Ryan saw a liar, a traitor, and Jake couldn't argue. The weight of it crushed him, tears streaming, hands trembling, replaying Ryan's wounded expression over and over. He'd wanted to give Ryan the world, to lift them out of their struggles, but instead, he'd torched the one thing that mattered most. Was it worth it? Not even close. Jake would trade every coin, every dollar to rewind time and see Ryan smile again. But wait, this Reddit story gets more interesting. The chaos didn't end with Ryan's exit. Jake's mind became a battlefield, torn between regret and a desperate need to fix what he'd broken. He paced their empty apartment, the walls closing in, haunted by the what-ifs. What if Ryan never came back? What if those coins, his golden dream, were cursed from the start? The more Jake thought, the deeper the suspense grew. He wasn't just fighting to reclaim a relationship. He was wrestling with his own identity. Was he the villain Ryan saw, or a misguided dreamer who'd lost his way? The stakes felt sky high, each passing day a ticking clock toward an unknown fate. Jake's phone stayed silent. No texts, no calls, just the eerie glow of his crypto app. He'd check it obsessively, not for profit, but as a reminder of his gamble's cost. Friends noticed his withdrawal, his red-rimmed eyes, but Jake couldn't bring himself to confess. The shame was a shadow, stalking his every move. He'd sit by the window, watching the world move on, wondering if Ryan was out there rebuilding without him. The tension was unbearable. Would Ryan forgive, or was this the end of their story? Jake's heart raced with every imagined scenario, from tearful reunions to a final, devastating goodbye. Days turned to weeks, and Jake's resolve hardened. He couldn't just wallow. He had to act. But how? A grand gesture, like cashing out the Solana and showing up at Ryan's sister's door, felt hollow now. Ryan didn't want money. He wanted trust, and Jake had shattered that. The suspense built as Jake grappled with his next move. Should he write a letter, pouring out his soul, track Ryan down and beg for a chance to explain? Or let go, accepting that his dream had cost him everything? Each option dangled like a thread, fragile and fraught with risk. The apartment, once a haven, became a prison of memories. Ryan's favorite mug on the counter, the couch where they'd binge shows, every corner whispered of what was lost. Jake's mind spun with dramatic visions. Ryan moving on, laughing with someone new, while Jake faded into a cautionary tale. The stakes weren't just about love anymore. They were about redemption. Could Jake claw his way back from this abyss? Or was he doomed to be the guy who traded his heart for a handful of digital coins? The uncertainty was a storm, wild and unrelenting. In the quiet hours, Jake turned to Reddit, spilling his saga to strangers. He needed answers, a lifeline. "Am I the bad guy here?" he typed, fingers shaking. "How do I fix this?" The post was a flare in the dark, a plea for clarity amid the wreckage. Responses flooded in, some harsh, some hopeful, but the suspense lingered. No one could decide for him. Jake stood at the edge, the future a fog, knowing one truth. He'd chased a dream to escape their struggles, only to plunge them into a nightmare. The thrill of the chase had faded, replaced by a raw, aching need to make things right. So there you have it. What did you guys think of this Reddit story? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and take care.